Hey everyone, this week it's all about packing for your travels. Live from the Bob Varley studio in Orlando, Florida, you're watching The Trip. This is The Trip, episode 28 for the week of August 26, 2015. The Trip is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel, experts at helping you plan the perfect vacation, whether it be theme parks on the West Coast, East Coast, or on the seas. Visit them on the web at www.dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Hey everyone, welcome to this week's show, The Trip, little something that we all about what?
There you go.
You know?
All right.
All of that. And,
who are you?
Well, I'm Jenny Lynn.
And I'm Teresa. And back in the production section of the room is Dustin West, our producer.
Hey, it autocorrects to production book a lot of times.
Does it?
Yeah. Whenever I'm sending out those emails.
It's like the big book of production.
Yeah. The production book.
Okay, we're off to a strange start. Anyway.
It's okay.
Yeah, so this week we are covering packing, overpacking versus underpacking. And we've got a good discussion ahead about it. Yeah.
Cool.
But
I'm going to just fly by the seat of my pants. I got an issue first, though. 8th grade is killing me. Day 3, right?
Yes.
The things I've learned already. The drama.
There's quite a bit of it.
Yeah. I'm just...
You never know what's going to happen at the cafeteria table.
Yeah, shut up. Day 1, we were on time. School starts at 9:30, right? For Miller, too, right?
Yep. They're both in the
I
same
want to leave
boat.
my house at 10 till 9. It's a 5-minute ride. I want her in that gate as it unlocks so I can go on and start my day by 9 o'clock, right? So, day 1, we were on point. Day 2, which was yesterday, we got there at 9:15. This morning we left the house at 9:20. As I'm pulling up to the car line, and it's a long car line, I'd say, get your seatbelt off, get your hand on the door. When I come to a stop or I slow down, jump out and run. Because she's got to run across the little quad, up 3 flights of stairs, outside in the heat, and down a hallway to get to her first class. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I love you, Stella. I love you to death. But, okay, I got this. So I stop the car. She opens the door. She turns around and shuts the door, adjusts her backpack, and then her fast walk is
A leisurely stroll.
a leisurely stroll. And I'm going, just get inside the gate, just get inside the gate. Because last thing she told me last night was when the final bell rings in the morning, all the teachers lock their doors, and you cannot get in the rooms. You got to go to the office to get entrance into the rooms. I know she had to do that this morning. It's driving me insane. And the weird things okay, I promised I wouldn't talk about this, but slang. Did you have slang words when you were in school, Dustin?
Sure.
Like what? Take me back to the 90s or whatever
man,
that was, the
only...
80s.
Oh.
Yeah, I was in high school in the 80s. Yeah.
You were?
No,
you weren't.
I was born in the 80s.
Oh my God, I'm so old. Okay, go ahead.
I'm trying to think. It's hard to do out of context. I remember the big one that I had a friend who claimed that he created it, and it was his word, but a million people say it. It was yoink.
Yoink.
But in the context of you're stealing something from somebody, so you go up to them, grab their pencil, yoink.
Wow.
And that was a big thing, apparently.
Were you, okay, you were in school in the 90s.
I was
Saved by the Bell, were those your people?
That was a little
definitely
early.
A thing. That was in the 80s. That was more
Is
my
that the 80s?
generation.
Yeah,
Okay.
And
80s,
one of
early
the words
90s.
was, our slang words was, you'd talk about if you saw a cute boy, he was fine.
That's
He is
still
Okay, that
Still
goes
today.
back. He was fine.
Yeah, we say hot
Ooh,
now.
girl, you fine.
You fine.
Back then we didn't say people were hot. We
Going
said, oh, they were
back
fine.
to my time, way back when. See, I was high school in the 70s.
Cheapers, that's swell.
Oh, okay, it wasn't Beaver Cleaver.
I'm
It
real
was-
keen on you.
I think you're swell. Little kid came over to our house. Oh, Mrs. Smith. you look so swell today. No, that didn't happen. We were early. It was, remember Happy Days was on TV?
Mm-hmm.
So we would take from things that we heard on that, which was actually from the 50s. But, okay, going back to middle school now. Stella, we're sitting there looking at something on the internet. I can't remember what we're looking at. And she did some, and then she said, on fleek. And I'm going, what the crap is that? And I said, what did you say? I didn't know what she was saying. I said, can you write that down for me? And then I'm going, what does that mean?
How is that spelled?
Yeah, how is that
I
spelled?
thought it was French, honestly.
On fleek.
Fleek,
Ooh,
on fleek.
On fleek.
On fleek. And
Oh, I like it
obviously
even better
meant-
now.
And she used it in a sentence, and she said, her brows are on fleek. And I'm going, what does that mean?
All right, for our listeners and viewers, spell that out.
On, O-N, and then F-L-E-E-K.
2 separate words.
2 separate words, on fleek. I Googled it. And
It's a thing.
It's in the Urban Dictionary. And then it means like on point, you're looking good, girl, that kind of stuff. Okay, and then I was talking to Grace about it. Grace, have you ever heard this? She said, yeah, but that was last year. Don't ever say that. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry.
No, just so everyone in the room is aware, I am now going to start saying this. I am in love with this phrase, on fleek.
It
It
needs
will
a
become
resurgence.
a regular part of my vocabulary.
For real,
I'll lay
Charlotte.
off
Your
on,
kids look at you weird, though.
I will lay off on OMG. Probably not. Not really. But I am definitely going to start using
I came
on
home
fleek.
with burgers from Toasted, which, we ate at yesterday.
Yes.
Last night for the family, and I handed Stella her vegan burger. And
Did
I
you
said,
tell this vegan burger is
said-
on fleek?
Yeah, JL said, this is on fleek,
Yeah.
baby. And she's like, please don't ever say that.
I'm going to say it all the
So,
time.
yeah, we're still,
Well,
easing into middle school.
In our house, it's the same thing. It's trying to get out of the summer mentality and.
But it's so hot.
And- well, let me just tell you what happened at our house. Okay, so my little one, Ellie, 10 years old, she's the one that keeps me
Still
tied
sweet.
in. No, she keeps me tied in stitches. She's the one that's most spunky. But along with that also comes her, being the most spunky. So,
What was that?
it
That
just
scared me. Don't do that again. Okay, what did she do?
So she comes home. She's supposed to come home from school on Monday. I was at a doctor's appointment. She walks home.
Mm-hmm.
She knows to let herself in. Margot's there waiting for her. That's what she's supposed to do.
Right.
Nope. I get the phone call. She's at her friend's house. She went to Cadence's house instead and wants to know if she can sleep over. I'm like, no, honey.
First week of school.
Not just even the first day of school.
No,
I was like,
that don't
no,
happen.
sweetheart. School started. We're not doing that. And why are you at your friend's house before you asked me if you could have, permission to be there?
Yeah.
We had a discussion. I said, that is not to happen again. You walk home. Because when she walks to her friend's house, at that point, it's too far away for her to walk home. And the
Oh, it's
parents.
the opposite.
And the parents have to drive her.
Or you have to go get her.
Or I have to go get her.
Yeah.
I couldn't go get her because I was in the middle of a doctor's
Right.
appointment. And so they did have to drive her, but I don't want to inconvenience people like that because
Right.
my child shows up at their house. So this is not to happen again. You walk home and you come home and you can ask me when you are at home if you can go to Cadence's.
Right.
But this is the order of things.
Cadence.
That's the name. Her friend's name is Cadence. And
I'm not getting into it.
I don't even want to go
so
there.
yesterday, I am still doing stuff work related and not going to be home for a while. I get another phone call.
She's over there again?
She's at Cadence's house, and Cadence's dad is asleep at the moment, so he can't drive her home just then. And I was like, okay, now I've got an issue. And
Yeah.
This
yep.
Cadence is a real Kimmy Gibbler. She's a bad influence on DJ.
I bet she is a Kimmy Gibbler, isn't she? You know who Kimmy Gibbler is, right?
I do.
Is she a
She's a
Kimmy Gibbler?
sweet girl, but yeah, she's, she kind of marches to the beat of her own drum. And,
Yeah.
Ellie's right there, and they just get, they have a great time
when,
together. I don't
when
have
you
a
were a
problem
kid,
with the child, but
did you have to come right home after school?
oh yeah, my upbringing was really strict.
Were your parents home when you got there?
No, I was a latchkey kid.
See, I was too, but I knew my mom's only rule was be home by dinner or dark, whichever came first. So it depends on the time of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So when school was out, I had time to walk uptown, get a little snackage at the store, and then walk over to the farm implement place and buy my $10 bottle of pop, and then go to a friend's house and lay on her big white canopy bed with her pink shag carpeting and look at Tiger Beat magazine.
Oh,
So that was and then I still had time we'd make prank calls on the phone or whatever we wanted to do.
That.
And then I'd get home before Mom walked in the door at 5:30.
Oh, you had it down pat.
Yeah.
I did not.
I could do it.
I went home and did what I was supposed to do.
Wow.
But
You were so- I
but
wouldn't
apparently
like that.
Ellie doesn't. We had to address that issue. But again, it's this whole idea. She still has it like, why can't I play with my friends every
See,
single
that's
day?
great. Every child's different. Grace is like that. Stella pretty much follows the rules to some extent. Max was on point with every rule.
He was on fleek.
He was on fleek with every rule. Grace.
We.
Yeah. We. Grace is more like me, I guess. I don't know. I didn't.
Now, hopefully we'll make the adjustment before next week because I can't have another week like this one.
I can't either. It's driving
Yeah.
me insane.
All right,
So, anyway, what are we talking about today? I've
we're
already
getting into
forgot.
a little bit of trip talk. All right, overpacking versus underpacking, and we hit Facebook and Twitter again for this. You guys came out by the bajillions with your.
Everybody has an opinion. I love that.
I know. We love you guys. We love how involved you are. And people were very definite on this.
Mm-hmm.
They're either very much one way or the other and then telling us why. And so we kind of spent some time looking at that and wanted to discuss, we're not here to tell you one way is right and one way is wrong. But
Oh, we're not?
well, Teresa might be. But just to kind of discuss, if you have a certain personality, if you're maybe geared towards one or the other, or if there may be circumstances that lend to erring on one side of the coin as opposed to the other.
That's the way I live.
Yep. So I thought we could open it up by talking about what we tend to do first.
Okay. Let's look at Dustin.
Yes.
Are you an overpacker or an underpacker, and why?
And have you always been this way?
Yeah, I've always been an underpacker. But not. No, wait. I take that back. I'm not an underpacker. I'm a very efficient packer.
Oh, he thinks
He's on fleek.
He's on fleek. He thinks he's perfect.
Because I am. Thank you. Because I don't.
Let's give him a medal, a blue medal.
The ribbon will be forthcoming.
Go ahead.
I never run out of anything that I need in terms of clothes
Okay.
or anything like that. I do tend to have a few extra of things, but that's just in case of
Right.
emergencies.
Yeah, everybody's got. Yeah, you got to think that way. Some people don't.
No, it is good to think that way.
Was instilled in me by my parents when I was a little
Right.
kid, when I might actually have emergencies.
Right. Never know when you might need to change your panties. Go ahead.
So I am a dead-on efficient packer, and I guess some would call that an underpacker.
Do you fold or do you roll?
I have rolled before, and I didn't find that very helpful. What I have is like these individual like zipper bags that separate different things. I haven't been using them lately, but they really help.
Like shirts in one bag, or do you do an outfit per bag?
No. I separate the type of clothing, not by outfit, but by type of
Because
clothing.
when my kids were little, I would separate it by outfit.
Mm-hmm.
And that
know?
makes things easy too
But
for them.
so you got all your tidy whities in one bag and all your.
You assume that I wear
No, I
those.
know. I don't care either way. I'm just saying.
You've seen me bend over and fix electrical
No.
equipment. You know what
You
I
have
wear.
colorful panties. I know. Okay.
This went in a
JL,
weird
where
direction.
are you at on the packing thing?
I do both. And I am the opposite of an efficient packer because I always either overpack or underpack, and I never seem to get it just dead on.
You know what you do that? I don't know if I should say this. I've roomed with
ahead.
you. Can I say it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
The first time I saw you do this, and I don't know if you do it every time, or it's just that one trip we were on the cruise. Okay, so as the trip progresses and you're living out of your bag, you hang some things, but you're living out of your bag, and as you wear the clothing, you pile it in a location.
I do.
But here's the thing that kind of got me is when you're ready to pack up to come back home, you fold everything up neatly, put it in the drawers and the closets, and then turn around and pull it all out and put it back in the bag.
Do I do that?
You did.
I could understand the folding, but why put it in the drawer, then take it immediately out?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Did I do that?
You did, and it was like our first time rooming together, and I just thought
thought
I
I
never
was
wanted to room with you
so
again.
That's something you do while you're sleepwalking, you know?
Right?
That's some weird stuff.
I don't know.
And you're always so organized.
She's
You
not
seem-
denying this claim.
No,
by the
she's
way.
not.
No, well,
You're
mean,
so
if
organized.
she
You're
saw it,
folding
I'm
the
glad.
clothes perfectly, and it's like you want to have control over that part of your life. I don't know. I was analyzing it.
Because everything else is way out of control.
Here's the deal with that. In terms of your dirty laundry or clothes that you've already used, I don't know how dirty they get, but the folding them before you pack them back into your bag at the end of your trip, I think is a good idea. They save space that way.
Oh,
Yeah.
Because if they're just crumpled up, they
Right.
take up a lot more space.
Yeah.
Plus, it makes it a lot easier when you're doing laundry when you get back home.
Right.
That especially for me, I roll up my sleeves if everything's unrolled, and
Right.
I
So you
fold it
know
up.
it's all spot on. Yeah.
All
I
good.
am still stunned by the fact that I did that.
I'm sorry.
Maybe what I was thinking, and I don't know because I don't remember doing it. Maybe I was trying to organize my clothes again before I put them back
I think you
into
were,
the
because
bag.
your bag was very
That was
organized.
mentally my way of,
I was just shoving crap in my
put
bag.
the shirts all together
Yeah.
before I put
Maybe.
everything back where it is supposed to be in its place before I organize the bag. Maybe that's why.
Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know. I didn't even
So
know
you
I
don't
did that.
overpack or underpack, you think? You take extra.
I do one or the other. It seems like I'll either get in a mode where I'm just like
A mode?
I don't want to I don't want to bring excess.
Right.
You know, my suitcases in general are much smaller than everyone else's usually, and I'm trying to stay within that space. But there are other times, I don't know why, certain trips trigger something for me where I'm like, I
Yeah.
got to be prepared for like
well,
the
weather,
apocalypse.
you never know. Now, we just came back from Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I had a checked bag, and it wasn't my biggest bag, but I packed just enough. I planned out, this is what I'm going to wear this day, this evening for dinner, whatever. I planned that out, and then I always throw in a few extra tops for good measure, and I almost always, with the exception of one trip that I've been on, always at least have one extra pair of shoes because something might happen to the shoes I'm wearing. You just
I'm bad with shoes. I will wear the same pair of shoes all the time. I might throw in a pair of sandals or flip-flops so that like in the morning I can just slip them on or something. But man, extra shoes, they taint the rest of your clothes in the bag. How do you pack them? Do you like put them in a
I put them in a bag.
Okay.
Yeah. I usually put them in
I usually put them in a separate compartment.
a bag and then tie it up and then put it in the bottom of But this last trip, I did not have any extra clothes I had one extra pair of jeans that I never wore. No, I wore them all.
Isn't that a good feeling though when you get back home?
It is, but it was scary on that last day because I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to be hand washing stuff out. I mean, I was kind of freaking. Now, Kathy, okay, I'm not going to go into Kathy details, but she always has enough clothes.
Yeah.
Now, this weekend I'm going to Indy, and I'm going to take a small, tiny little carry-on,
And that's it?
and that's it. And I am going to that's it. I might be
You're
wearing
going to
the
make
same.
it work.
I'm going to make
You
it
know
work.
what always gets me, where I always get stuck when it comes to overpacking? It's always with my hair maintenance things because I do not have wash and go hair. It would scare everyone
I agree with that.
that I do not have wash and go hair.
No, that you have.
Thanks.
You have a lot of things.
This is
a lot of product.
Yeah, it's not wash and go. Like if I have to wash my hair and have what I need for that, and then I have to decide whether I'm going to allow it to be curly like it actually is, or if it's going to be straight. And that always depends on the day and the weather.
Right.
And if I want it to be curly, I have products for that, as well as
Yeah.
my hair dryer with the diffuser. And if I'm going to be straight, then I have to have my
So you have a lot of different.
flat iron.
There's a lot
and-
to think about, and also you got to think
Stop
about
tapping the mic.
if you're you can cut back on some by mixing and matching clothes, wear the same jeans twice, or
Yeah. See, now I will.
I do that sometimes.
I will skimp on like jeans because I have like 2 pairs of jeans that I really love. Well, 3 pairs of jeans that I really love, and I can go for long periods of time just in those 3 jeans.
Oh yeah. Oh, I love reusing jeans like nobody's business.
Okay.
Now, however, I don't know if you guys have the same experience. When you first wash a pair of jeans and put them through the dryer and everything, man, it's the best they ever fit, right? Do yours
No.
get like?
Mine's the worst
Honey,
that it ever
that's
fits.
the worst they fit.
Do they get loose though? Looser?
Yes.
Get
and they get more
looser,
comfortable.
which means that they actually fit.
Oh, see, I
you don't
feel-
have to do the jiggly dance to
I-
get them on.
Oh well. I guess girls tend to wear more form-fitting
Yes.
jeans. I would imagine, but I go from having properly fitted jeans the first day that they're clean to then feeling like I'm wearing Jinkos the next day.
Yeah.
They're just huge.
Well, it depends on the type of pants. I've got a couple pairs that I can wear several times and they look good every time. And then I've got some that it's like, okay, I can't keep these up or they're too tight and you know.
Mine are always terrible the first day and then they get better after that. But
But I think, and also my packing differs if I'm driving on my trip. Because I'll still limit myself to one bag for clothing. But at the last minute, you can just start cramming stuff in the car, right? Which
Yeah.
is my husband's
well,
way he does it.
You're starting to get into some of what we're talking about. So you're not an underpacker or an overpacker. It's
I'm kind of
dependent
middle
on
of the road, depending on, yeah.
Okay, so we were going to discuss that. Underpacking. What makes you an underpacker? What would have you lean in that direction? Well, I actually did a little bit of reading up about this, and I think we've all heard about Type A and Type B personalities. If you are a Type B personality, you are more inclined to be an underpacker. So Type B personalities cherish freedom, a lack of boundaries. They're more creative in general, more flexible. They enjoy exploring and discovering new ideas, approaches. They're more patient. They have a natural inclination to disregard physical or mental stress. So these are the more relaxed people, and they tend to be the underpackers.
I want to be that.
I know, me too.
This guy right here. But though you make it sound like I have a disease, Type B personality disorder or something
You're
like
a
that.
minimalist.
I didn't name it. I'm just telling you.
Question: do you
Yeah.
pack shampoo or do you use what's in the hotel?
Hotel all the way. I ain't got room for that. You know what I put in my little carry-on for toiletries?
What?
I got toothpaste, toothbrush, deodorant, and whatever it is I might put in my hair. And I don't even have to bring that. I could just wear a hat all the time. I would be fine with deodorant and toothbrush.
Boys have it so easy.
You don't moisturize?
Huh?
Uh-huh.
You don't shave. We know that.
I shave the neck at
Okay.
home. I don't do it when I travel, really.
Well, along with Dustin, Ben Abel left us a comment on Facebook, and he described his personality as more along Type B. He kind of showed that he was more into freedom and having a lack of boundaries, because he says, I am a minimalist. I try to pack just the essentials without being unprepared for contingencies. So he's kind of along the lines of you. I
Yeah.
guess he feels like he has what he needs, but he doesn't want to pack more than what he needs. Also, what?
Nothing. I'm thinking,
funny.
how can I travel without the sewing kit and a little pair of scissors and the extra buttons and all the little things? And then for the personal hygiene items that I might need, right?
Yes. Well, you're also a girl, so that comes into play. There's a bit more.
Sorry, Dustin. You got to think about that stuff.
I think in general it's easier for men to be minimalists.
Yeah. So okay.
But anyway, so if you are male or Type B or a minimalist, you're probably going to be more along the lines of an underpacker. That's okay. Embrace it.
Backpacking across Europe kind of people.
Yeah. That
I'm
kind
low
of thing.
maintenance.
Low maintenance.
Something else that might kind of lend you towards underpacking would be if you're traveling by plane. I think traveling by plane lends itself more to
Underpacking?
Underpacking as opposed to overpacking.
Oh, I think so. If I have a lot of connections, I kind of have a stressful moment and think, I don't want to check a bag because I want to make sure it stays with me. So
Well, you've lost bags.
I've lost bags. So
You have a little bit of a fear.
I have
of
a little
that.
bit of fear of getting somewhere and not having what I need. So
Yeah.
sometimes I'll just tote my stuff with me.
And Jack Hyman had another thing in favor of that. He said, I would hate to overpack and get to the airport and have to take things out or pay the overage fee for heavy bags.
Oh, I've been there too.
Yeah, so underpacking while you're flying, it's good because you have minimal baggage when you're doing what you were saying, layovers and baggage fees and all of that. And then also, lugging it everywhere. You see these people that are
If you
pushing
could-
these massive amounts of
If you could
luggage
only
and-
take 2 things in your suitcase,
Oh.
and we're not talking clothes,
Okay.
2 things, what would they be? 2 things you can't live without.
What else do you?
Well, does
put
my
in there,
whole makeup kit count as
Okay,
one thing?
you're doing this. Your makeup kit is this. I've roomed with you. My makeup kit, does that count?
Okay, so it's like this.
Okay, why do you take
Big.
all that? Do you use all of those items when you're traveling? You don't.
I do. I use all of my
No,
makeup.
you don't.
I sure do.
Everything in that. Okay, all those eyeshadows. You use every one of them on every trip. No.
Oh, no, I don't.
Go down to just one little.
But it's easier when
Okay,
I'm
so 2
packing to
things.
just pick up the whole little, because I already have it in a little tote.
So, what 2 things are you going to take?
My makeup tote.
It's one thing, one big thing.
You can't ask me to
My makeup
separate
tote.
it.
Okay, what's the other thing?
My storage tub of makeup.
It's a soft side. Okay.
My hair straightener.
Your hair straightener.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dust.
Well, see, you asked this question, and my immediate thought was, what else do you pack besides clothes?
Oh, he wouldn't need to pack anything.
I don't.
We can put stuff in his suitcase.
Wait a minute.
Well, I do have a tip, and I've mentioned it before. I don't know if it was on this show
This means
or
I'm
other
leaving
shows.
behind my razor. I got to bring my razor.
Oh no, you got to bring that,
Okay.
please. I did have a tip, and I can't remember if I've mentioned it on this show or some of our other shows, but in terms of, especially when you go somewhere like Disney World or something like that, where you might pick up things along the way, souvenirs.
Right.
So your bags were one way coming in, and they're going to be more overflowed on the way out. If you're okay, either you have the option to have another bag or you don't mind paying for the extra bag. A good way to do that coming in is do the Russian nesting doll bags.
Yeah.
So put a big empty bag on the outside of your smaller bag that you actually have all your stuff in. And then that counts as one bag on the way out.
Right.
And then by the time you get to your location, Disney World or wherever you might pick up souvenirs, now all of a sudden you have 2 bags. And when you come back, you can figure it out. You have options.
That actually brings up another point with underpacking. I'll skip ahead since you already brought it up. Was underpacking becomes it's more practical if you're going to be getting souvenirs on your trip. And now I completely lost my place.
Yeah, where are you going with
Threw me
that?
all off. I was so organized, and now it's all done. Okay.
Sorry.
Back to air travel, though. The other thing that is good about underpacking with that form of travel is it's more efficient for checking in, boarding, deboarding. If you have, so much in that overhead, bin, it takes longer to get off and get on and get
So
seated.
you would leave your electronics at home if you're only taking those 2 items.
Oh, I forgot about my phone.
No, your phone doesn't count.
Okay.
I'm talking about your iPad, your
Oh, yeah.
Surface. You leave that?
Yeah,
don't
I
care
just need
about
my
that.
phone. That's fine.
You're good.
Yeah, I'm good. If I got my phone, I'm good. Okay. Underpacking is also, I think, more suitable. Tell me if you guys weigh in here. But in my opinion, it's more suitable for international travel because most likely when I think you're more likely, or at least I would be more likely, to get souvenirs. And if you underpack, you have
Yeah.
room for them on the way back.
Mail them home.
That's a good option.
Because you don't know what things are going to. If you underpack and you get 10 million miles from home on planet Mercury and you do not have a shirt or something that you need, you might not be able to buy it or afford it.
So you don't think that underpacking
No, I
is
would-
appropriate for international travel?
No. I mean, it depends on how I'm going to travel once I'm there.
Okay.
If I'm going there and staying in one place, pack it, get it, But if I'm going to go there and be jetting around or moving around from place to place, like in an ABD trip or something, I would underpack.
Okay.
Try to, because you're mobile and you got to,
Yeah,
if you're
that's
in
a
charge
lot.
of all your stuff,
Now, here's something Otto Tillman wrote in, and he said he's from the Netherlands. He said clothing is so much cheaper in the U.S. than it is in the Netherlands, so buying clothes and shoes there pays for the airfare and then some. And the rest,
I've heard of
sun
other
lotion,
people
shampoo,
doing that.
toothbrush, he buys all of that when he's here at Publix or Walmart because it's less expensive.
And does he leave it here or does he take it home?
Well, we were. I was talking to Paula and her mom from New Zealand on our last Adventures by Disney, and they
She's
said
a good packer.
Yeah, they said when they go on, especially go backpacking and stuff like that, they'll take some of their older clothes to wear that they don't necessarily like anymore, and then on the trip they'll find places to donate the clothes when they're done wearing them. I thought that's
smart.
a wonderful idea.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Isn't that
the
cool?
reverse of buying new clothes for vacation, right? But they go to all kinds of exotic places and different.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, though.
That kind of sort of relates to the next point. Kat Phyllis told us that she underpacks, and the reason is she figures that if she's missing something, it's a good excuse to buy some new clothes or whatever it is that she's missing. And in that sense, underpacking is cool because if you're getting souvenirs, if you buy practical souvenirs, your souvenirs double as things that you would have packed, but it's less that you're needing
Practical souvenirs.
Like if you don't pack as much clothing,
Oh,
then
so
when you're
like
traveling, your
shirts and stuff.
souvenirs would be clothing,
Okay.
you know, that type of thing.
I have that. Yeah, I've had that happen.
Yeah.
You ever see that whenever you go on a cruise, the next day from a port that you've been in, like everybody's wearing shirts from the port from the day before.
Yeah.
Have you ever noticed that people do that? You'll go to Nassau, and the day after Nassau, there's a million people wearing Nassau
Nassau
t-shirts.
shirts.
It's like they have to prove to me that they were just there. I was on the ship too. Or maybe they just like the shirt. I don't know.
Maybe they
Maybe.
do.
And maybe I'm just being too judgy.
You are judgmental.
Yeah.
Dude, what's that about?
When we went to
Sorry.
the Grand Caymans, I bought an outfit and I wore it the next day. Is
And
that
we all
bad?
knew it, too.
I know, but I was excited
We
about my
knew
outfit.
you were there, JL. You didn't have to prove it to us.
Well, it didn't say Grand Cayman across my
Mr. West
chest.
was judging you, and he put it in his diary, dear diary. JL bought an outfit and wore it the next day. What the crap is that about?
Okay, here's another thought I had. As far as underpacking, well, I didn't completely come up with this myself. I had thought of it, but Melissa Verson wrote in and said, warmer months I tend to underpack as it's easy to pack dresses or just shorts and t-shirts, tank tops, and flip-flops. So I'm wondering what do you guys think? Underpacking, it might lend itself more to underpacking if it's like spring or
Oh,
summer
yes.
because you don't need
Yeah.
as many
Absolument.
clothes.
Or you could flip it, and the clothes are smaller and less bulky, so you can get more in there.
Well, that's true as well. The climate, I would think,
the
lends
climate has a
itself
lot to do with it. When we just got back,
You just need less in
Right.
order to be comfortable.
If you're going somewhere that's different from your personal climate where you live, you're going to have to, accommodate what you're going to need. So you might have to have a jacket or we're not wearing jackets and bulky
When I
clothes,
travel from here in Florida to someplace up north, for example, when it's winter, it's like I'm putting together my battle armor. That's the one
Yes.
time that I do overpack because I never get the chance to wear like the 8 coats that I have and love
Right.
that I think I look good in, and it's like I have no excuse to wear these.
Yeah.
I'm bringing them all.
bringing them all, your hats and your gloves and your scarves.
Yeah.
Oh God, that's my husband. He just packs everything. He always overpacks.
He's the overpacker.
Oh my gosh. Do you have a bigger suitcase? And this is like the biggest one I have, 'cause I need to take 90 pair of jeans. Okay.
I thought also, I think underpacking is a more suitable choice if wherever you are traveling, you have the ability to do laundry.
Correct. Case in point, our summer trip this summer, we were going back to visit family. I knew I was going to have access to washers and dryers. I took because we drove, I took my little jug of laundry soap because I like my brand
like
that I
yours.
use. I
And
like my
that's
brand.
just plain polite. To use your own.
Right. Well, true. And I don't like stinky stuff my mom uses. So, but I did underpack because I knew there's no way, one, I'm going to be able to pack enough clothes for all of this for the 5 of us in the car, 6 of us in the car. So, yeah, we did a lot of laundry.
I think it definitely makes a difference.
And you're going, if you keep moving, no one cares if you wear, as long as you're clean and you don't stink.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
When we would vacation, we had DVC, Disney Vacation Club,
Mm-hmm.
and those facilities, we'd always have a 1-bedroom, and they always come with a washer and a dryer.
Mm-hmm.
So I just knew I was going to take a little bit of time out of my vacation to do everyone's laundry,
Right.
and that way I didn't have to pack as
Are
many
those
clothes.
free at DVC?
It's included in your room if you're a 1-bedroom or bigger.
If you're a studio, they have.
There's not.
They have coin laundries, don't they?
I think so. They have facilities, but they
Yeah.
don't. It's not the personal laundry unit in your room if you have the studio.
Oh, I see what you're saying. It's
We have
in your room.
You have a personal unit
But like
in
at
your
Pop
room.
or some of the other places, there's a laundry on facility.
Yeah, there are facilities where you can
Yeah.
do it. So either way, I guess, but I just knew if I had a washer and dryer in my room, I was going to do
Yeah,
laundry.
you're going to use it.
Just to note, we talk a lot about Disney Cruise Line and Royal Caribbean Cruise Line on all of our shows. Disney Cruise Line has laundry facilities that you can go in. You can even iron your shirts and stuff. You can do all that you want. Pretty sure all of Royal Caribbean does not offer that, and that if you want to do laundry, like
You
on
have
that,
to send it
you gotta
out
send
with
it out.
the host. Yeah.
Same with many hotels that you would go to as you travel, and that gets very
gets expensive.
Yeah,
It does.
that is absolutely true because I have done laundry on a Disney cruise, and when I went on the Royal Caribbean one, that was not an option.
Yeah.
You had to send it out. Mel Sykes was chiming in with this, and she says when we have washing facilities in the room, we underpack as much as possible with a half-empty suitcase, so that they can fit in all of their Disney souvenirs. So, the last thing I think that lends itself to underpacking would be if your itinerary is a little bit more open, you're not really exactly sure what's going on your trip. Maybe this is just me, but I would tend to be more basic about what I packed. I tend to do the opposite when I know I have a specific something and that needs like a specific outfit or specific
Right.
equipment or something like that. If my itinerary is more open,
What
I tend to
equipment
be
are you
just
taking?
very basic. I don't know.
Okay,
A
just wondered.
flat iron. I don't know.
Just wondered if your equipment was the same equipment I'm traveling with. I mean, it might be or it might not. Okay, go on.
Are we getting awkward right now? I love you so
I didn't
much.
say anything. I'm just asking. You brought up the word. I didn't.
Meanwhile, Dustin's dying in the background and can't even speak at this point.
I
Yes.
refuse.
So I don't know. What do you think? If the itinerary is a little bit more open, where you don't have a definite plan. And you're not really sure,
definitely.
You kind of
I
underpack
pack
more.
more same type of things.
Yeah, it's
kind
more
of middle of the
basic,
road.
yeah.
Maybe a basic pair of dark pants or a skirt and mix and matching things. If you're going somewhere like, I'll just say a cruise, like a 7-night cruise or more, you've got formal night, you've got semi-formal night, you're going to be at the beach, you're going to be in this port,
Yeah,
that port,
on Disney
this.
cruises you have pirate night.
Right. So you do have to, it lends itself to packing more, I think.
Right.
And that's a good point because I haven't thought about that. But that's definitely the way it flies in my house.
That actually kind of helps us segue into overpacking because you were talking about that a little bit. And
It's a type A personality. Huh?
yeah, yep,
Oh, can I read this?
yep. Go ahead.
A more suitable choice for type A personalities, which we know now is not Dustin, rigidly organized, impatient, take on more than they can handle, anxious, proactive, and concerned with time management. Satisfaction comes with the achievement alone. Oh, good Lord. Where'd
Meaning
you
we're
get
like-
that?
Because I did reading on this. Type B they're happy with no matter what the outcome is. It's more about experiencing.
So they're more shaggy
Yeah,
versus
they're more
Velma.
Yes, exactly. They're more.
Well, I'm not
satisfied.
getting any Scooby Dooby snacks. Okay.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo. Type B would be more satisfied with, the experience, not necessarily the achievement. Type A has to have the achievement. They have to make sure that they were on fleek.
With all this, with getting
Right.
See, this is bizarre because when these two types come together in a marriage that's been married for 27 years, we end up not traveling together because of these things.
Oh, really?
Seriously, now that you've pointed this out to me,
That'll be next week's episode
now
on the trip.
now that you pointed this out to me, that's why.
Right.
Wow,
Susan
this is
Kelly was
sad.
one of these.
Oh, I love Susan
She's
Kelly.
proactive. She says she overpacks because you never know what you will need. That's a very proactive personality. And William Douglas, he kind of, in his comment, came across as a bit anxious. He says, I overpack.
Exclamation
point.
I'm paranoid. Oh, I'm sorry. It's a full sentence. I'm paranoid that I'll need something and be hours away from home.
He doesn't want to be unprepared and unable to get whatever
I
he
kind of feel
needs.
that way too. That's why I always carry a little sewing kit.
Well, there's something that I know for a while, I think it was Kevin would always say on the Disney World show is, we talk about packing here and there, and he would always say, you're not coming to like a wasteland. There are things here. And pretty much
Sometimes you are.
But pretty much everywhere that we've talked about on this particular show, there's a grocery store, you know? There's a Target.
Have you not been to Biggsville?
He is really flying that underpacking banner
He
over
is.
there.
I've been to places where they roll the carpet up at 8 p.m. and you can find
And it's
nothing.
done.
It's
Yeah.
done. It's done. Lights are out. And I need something. And
There's
I can't
no
get to it.
24-hour Walmart.
No, you got to drive like an hour and a half to get to
All right.
a bag of candy. I don't know what the heck it would be, but I'm just saying. And we've had to do that.
Yep. I
But I see what you're saying. We're not going to the outback, or we're not going to, some country in Africa where we're on a safari and we have our tent.
Yeah.
Which if I do that, I would want the tent with all the furniture in it. Remember, remember those? And
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, but
Oh my
like out of
gosh.
Africa, right?
You
That's
are
the way
so
I'm
cool.
doing Africa.
I will be with you on that trip. I want to be in your
I want to be
tent.
sitting at my beautiful little desk writing in my journal. Okay, what's next?
Okay, well, where we talked about underpacking was maybe a little bit more suitable for air travel, talking about road trips, I think that lends itself to overpacking, and you mentioned this a little bit
it
earlier,
does.
so tell us about that.
It does, because depending on what type of vehicle you're taking and how many people are riding with you, you've got a whole vehicle to fill up. Mm-hmm. Whether it be, if you're with my sister, coolers and coolers of snacks and food, which I think is ridiculous, because if you're on a road trip, and we decided this at the end of this one, you're on a road trip, look, there's convenient places where we can stop and buy fresh things to eat.
Right.
So, but there's also the ability to put in a suitcase, put in a small bag with extra shoes, put in a bag with just the toiletries, and you don't have to combine it all in together into one bag to go on an airplane or a train or a bus.
Right.
Yeah.
You
There
know,
is
you've
there
got
is
the
room to
whole-
expand, and I think a lot of people I know, I used to feel this way. If you've got the room, use it.
Right?
So,
But that also makes me claustrophobic in the vehicle.
Let me ask you guys a question. Do you have, either of you, have somebody in your family or somebody that you travel with a lot that is, because this is what I am, the Tetris person, the person that makes it all fit in the car.
Oh, Lord. Yes.
I don't want to say that I'm OCD, because I'm not, but I have some sort of tendencies to make things want to fit in that perfect way and
to make it most
efficient.
efficient and eye-pleasing, and nothing worse than if you're in a van and you have to have 3 people on fleet waiting for the van, you to open
the
the
door
door
to open up.
when
Yeah.
crap starts falling out, Okay, because I can look in the picture, I can look in the window and see this stuff's gonna fall out this side. You squat over here and catch this 12-pack of eggs that's gonna pop out, or whatever's in the back.
Yeah.
I want it to be neat in the van.
I am like you. So my ex-husband was the Tetris guy, and he would make everything fit and work just so. But I wanted things to be accessible, and I wanted the organization of the vehicle to be understandable. Like, I wanted it to make sense. Kids' toys were here because kids are sitting here. Food is over here because I can access it here. Luggage is in the back because we don't need it. But the overnight bags are on top so we can get them out first.
Right,
that type
right.
of thing.
Right.
So I would still stuff the vehicle, but it wasn't necessarily efficient.
And if you feel that it's not all going to fit, then what do you do? How do you start weeding out?
I always made it fit.
Did you?
Always.
I
yeah.
would start weeding out other people's things first, and then my stuff would, and depending on where I'm sitting in the vehicle. If I'm the driver, my immediate personal things that I want to have near me are in a small bag, either between the seats or in the front seat on the floor. The passenger has their personal bag. Children usually kept the same assigned seat the whole time,
Yep.
and they would trash that section of the vehicle to the point where it looked like the Who have been in the hotel room in 1968. It was horrible. So, yeah, it just depends on. But we do overpack in the vehicle. I mean, it's hard
Yeah.
not to do that.
Yeah.
Sherry Neufel was saying that as well. She said, if we're driving, we tend to overpack because we can. It's just the 2 of us with 2 little dogs, so we have plenty of room in the vehicle for everything we think we might need. And I think, that's kind of it. A vehicle more easily accommodates a crowded situation, so people just kind of tend to lend themselves to that.
Right.
And also, depending on the type of road traveler you are, and I I understand not everybody travels like this, but I was like this, where it was, we would get in the car and we would go. Like, I just wanted to type A. I wanted to get there. There wasn't a lot of stopping and lollygagging, and it was like, do you really have to go to the bathroom? Can you wait an hour? Like, let's just keep going. Just
maybe I'm B then. Is there a C?
I think you fluctuate.
I go back and forth.
Yeah.
I think it depends on the situation for you.
Because I can be just
You
meandering.
are very type A about Christmas trees,
Yeah.
Okay.
but you are type B about other things.
Right.
And
It
make
depends
me
on what
look
it
like a
is.
freak.
What about the Christmas trees?
Okay, let's talk about you and Christmas trees. If anybody else puts up ornaments, you go back and you rearrange it.
You promised me you would never tell anybody that.
Teresa, my read on you is that in your planning and in your thought process going into something, you're very type A.
True. Okay, I
But
get that.
unlike other type A personalities, once you get to the event, once you get to the experience, you're very fluid and able to enjoy the experience and say, oh, whatever happens, happens,
Yeah.
which is very type B. So you are kind
You
of...
might be the best of both worlds.
I'm flexible. I do, and if something goes wrong on the road trip, I just kind of
You adapt.
I adapt.
So you might be the
Which
best.
X-Men am I? Who
You're
does
really
that?
great.
I do like. I mean, I don't. I'm not gonna let it ruin my trip because crap happened,
Right.
or it's just there's no reason to let it ruin your trip. Just keep moving on.
Right.
Unlike today, because you brought up the Christmas tree thing. My day is now over. Okay.
rocked her world.
You outed me about putting clothes back in the drawers before I put them in my suitcase, so we're calling this even. But anyway, back to what I was saying. I was in the get in the car and go. So for that reason, I need stuff in the vehicle so that, we have whatever we need in order to keep moving and not have to stop.
Why?
Because I just want to get there. And if I have to
So
make
it's
a
not
lot of
about
stops.
the journey.
A lot of times it's not. It's about the accomplishment.
Depends on where I'm going.
I mean, I'm getting better as I'm aging.
you gotta live in each moment.
As I'm
JL.
aging, it's getting a
Let
little
it
bit
go.
easier for me to
I'm
let
not
it go.
gonna sing, but just let it go. Because it's the journey. It's the day to day. How I get from here to when I go to bed at night. Who knows what's gonna happen? But as long as I get there and get up the next day and everything's cool, I'm good.
So next time we go on a trip, I'm going to see if you underpack or overpack, if you're true to your word.
Well, now she's aware, though. Now
Right?
she's going to try to trick
And you're gonna
you.
show up with a little thing of no, you won't. And yeah,
Well, I've been
Nothing
the one.
but a diffuser and a cell phone.
So here's the thing.
MacGyver.
On a lot of our trips, I have been the one that underpacks, and then people have to buy me sweatshirts. Thank you, Casey.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Thank you, Casey. I appreciate that. Buy
Well,
me
that was an
sweatshirts because I
unexpected
was,
chilly night.
not prepared and didn't overpack and didn't, account for that. That kind of goes into this. Overpacking kind of also lends itself to if you're on a really tight budget and you don't want to have to buy those things.
Or you
that-
can't afford those things. Yeah.
Right. If you already have them and you're needing
Yeah.
to make sure that you keep your expenses down low.
Especially if you're going to Disney World.
Right.
Those things that you can get at home before you leave. You can go to, grocery store or whatever. Even little snacks or breakfast items. When I would travel to Disney World, we'd always get some Pop-Tarts or cereal or breakfasty kind of things because we wouldn't eat breakfast every time, and that would save us money. And if we wanted to buy those items at the store in
They
Disney,
were so expensive.
3 times the
Exactly.
price.
Oh, that's a definite when you've got kids, especially if you're driving. Before you leave the house, you start pulling snacks out, and I don't work that into the budget because I know it's in my budget at home. It's not my travel, so I feel like I'm saving money, especially if there's no extra money to spend for that. Why would I buy you a Pop-Tart when you got one back in the room? I don't care if it's crushed and in tiny pieces. Suck it out of the bag because I'm not buying you a new one.
Right.
Okay, what's next?
Well, Heather Lane Sylvia said the same thing. She overpacks because it prevents her from having to buy items along the way. She says she'd rather spend her budget on outings more than underwear.
Wow.
She doesn't want to have to buy extra underwear if she needs it. So she just brings it and overpacks and makes sure she has plenty of it. Okay, so we were talking about the seasons for the last one. If underpacking is more of a thing for spring and summer, the opposite would be true for overpacking. I
Yeah.
would think that that'd be more of a thing for winter or fall. it's good to be prepared, or you end up like me and you're
Layering.
in Canada and you're really cold and
Yeah.
you don't have enough clothes.
You have to layer. You can always take off clothes, but you got to stay warm, or different things you're doing in whatever climate that is.
Yeah, whether it's
you need
rainy
boots
or whatever.
or whatever, you got to have to plan for that. So that would be, but I don't know if that would be considered overpacking or just being a well planned out.
Well, I mean, again, I would
That's
say
just
I
being-
would, but I think the idea is if you're going to overpack, this is a situation that would maybe make you more inclined to overpack. If you know that it's a winter or fall, you're going to have more of an urge to make sure you have what you need.
And wear holiday clothing.
Right, because you need more things to be comfortable. So,
What is holiday clothing?
oh,
Like
but it's themed clothing.
themed clothing, like fall colors or.
Huh?
You know how have you ever been to an ugly Christmas sweater party?
Okay. I don't do
Unfortunately,
that.
yes, I have.
Okay, well,
Okay.
those sweaters originally weren't considered ugly.
Right.
People wore them in all seriousness.
That's
And
sad.
some still do. But no, like if you're going somewhere in the fall away from Florida, you wouldn't wear a pink sweater. You would wear a pumpkin sweater, pumpkin color
See, now
or
this is too
dark
much for me.
colors,
But that
So-
doesn't get into overpacking or
No,
underpacking.
well, you would have to
That's
just wear more.
Yeah.
Pack more. Okay.
Melissa chimed in with that as well, and she says, I tend to overpack more in the winter due to the multiple layers needed to stay warm. There's the thought of snow or rain, how cool it's going to be depending on the destination. So next thing, we talked about underpacking might be a cool thing if you know that you're going to do laundry. I think you would probably be more inclined to overpack if you knew you weren't going to be able to do laundry.
Correct.
That would actually panic me a little bit, because I would definitely be like, if I know that I cannot do laundry, I do not want to have to wear dirty underwear. So I'm going to pack lots of it.
I would never wear dirt. I mean,
Well, that's what I'm saying. You make
you
sure that
pack
you
a
have
lot.
enough.
Pack a lot of panties. Yeah.
Yeah, that
If
kind
nothing
of stuff.
else, I have an overage of panties. If nothing else,
And what color are they?
all colors, Dustin, all colors.
If it's in the fall, they're pumpkin colored.
pinks and mints for summer. No, I mean, I don't.
I was going for the red panties.
The red,
reference.
the red panties, red panties.
That's a story for another day.
Yeah, but no, that kind of, foundation garments like that, I always overpack.
Right.
Always. I don't care where I'm going. Because it's something you can stick in nooks and crannies in the suitcase and it fills up space.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Donna
I'm all about
McSweeney said
overpacking
something
that.
similar. She didn't necessarily address undergarments, but she said just in case your clothes get dirty, then you have extra. So she's afraid of, having the stinky shirt and not wanting to have to wear the
Yeah.
stinky shirt again or whatever.
And
it is.
I never really ever wear socks, but I always take them when I travel.
You don't wear socks? I almost always wear socks. Well, I mean, unless I'm wearing flip-flops.
Right.
You don't wear
interesting.
socks with your shoes?
No, just, not down
She
here.
has her
I
little
used to.
Skechers.
Little Skechers. Sometimes I wear the little hidden socky thing,
What's up with that?
I don't know. It's too hot.
He looks so stressed out right now.
If I got to go through, if I don't
Did you
get,
get like blisters and stuff?
no. I have shoes that fit and are comfortable.
Yeah.
So, moving on. Whereas before we talked about the open-ended itinerary for overpacking, I think it's like we talked about this a little bit earlier. If you have specific things on your itinerary that require unique items or clothing, that would lend to overpacking. I made this mistake actually on the first cruise I took with my kids. It was a very last
Take
minute.
skis or something. You didn't.
No, I underpacked for my cruise. It was very last minute. I was stressed out. I had just finalized my divorce and moved
Right.
and took on a
I
new
remember
job
that time, yeah.
all at the same time. And then it was like, hey, we're going on a cruise.
Right.
And I was not ready for anything. Plus, I had never cruised before, so
you
I
underpacked.
didn't know what to do. Yeah, well, someone gave me advice and said, just take the very basic stuff. Whatever you need, you can get on the boat.
Don't
so I
ever
thought,
take that advice again.
well, I mean, I was fine. I had what I needed. But
you had
as we went
choices.
throughout the cruise, I realized, well, it's pirate night, and
I have no choices.
my kids don't have pirate outfits.
They
And-
give you that little scarf.
yeah, and I made do, and we did the scarf, and I made up their faces like pirates with my full makeup tote that I had brought because I didn't minimize that. But there, formal night, I didn't have I didn't have a gown or a super
Right.
nice dress. It was more of a casual sundress, and I didn't bring flip flops. I mean, there was just a lot of things that I brought. One pair of shoes. I brought sneakers. That was it.
I
Well-
don't flip flop.
You know,
I don't have flip flops.
That was you always yell at me for my flip flops. So it was one time I didn't bring them. Anyways, I just brought the one pair of shoes. Anyway, so I made do, but I had wished that I had had more. I
Right.
felt like I seriously underpacked.
Underpacked, yeah.
And I regretted taking
I
that.
don't like that feeling. One trip we went on, I decided I was just going to take my shoulder tote. And it was a 2-night, 3-day trip, weekend trip. And if it didn't fit in that little bag, and I'm talking it was a small bag, I didn't take it. And it stressed me out. By the time I come home and I'm thinking, okay, I had clean clothes on every day, but until I got home, I worried about not having extra shoes. Until I pulled in the driveway, whew, I made it with one pair of shoes.
I lived.
I don't like that. I don't like that feeling of worrying about running out. And I don't want
Yeah.
to go out and have to take my time on a vacation to look for something to wear while I'm on vacation. I don't want to have to do that.
It's not a good
I don't like
feeling.
that feeling at all.
Well, and the thing with, going back to the cruise, that's a very specific itinerary. You know what is going to be happening each day ahead of time.
Yeah.
And if you have that itinerary already set out, you should know what are the things that you're going to want or need for those particular instances. And I would think that would lend itself to overpacking if you're going to do,
or at least
one or
being
the other.
highly organized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lisa Rollick said something similar. She said she overpacks. She wants to make sure that she has something particular just in case she needs it. And that leads to overpacking, especially on cruises. And I, obviously felt the
Yeah.
same way. The last thing I think that lends itself to overpacking, and this is a really kind of a big deal, it's a more suitable choice if you are traveling with special needs, restrictions of some sort, or children.
Yeah.
Let's address children first.
Okay.
Go.
When my kids were little, sorry, I need a drink. When my kids were little, I overpacked. Their clothes were little. You could roll them up, fold them up, make it fit. And I was the one that, especially when they were starting to dress themselves, but still little, 2 years old. When you want them to I would Ziploc their little outfits each in a little baggie and pack it and I would label it. This is what you're going to wear on Monday, Max. This is what you're going to wear on Tuesday.
little Ninja Turtle underwear.
Yeah. Barney.
Well, I was going to say, coming into all this, we're talking about, type A and type B and overpacking and underpacking. I think there's some exemptions to that doesn't necessarily define a person. It is these cases, especially people with infants, young children, special needs, whatever the case may be. But, my brother has a baby, and he is just like me in terms of classic underpack. Not going to happen while he's got a baby.
No,
So,
can't.
a guy that has been type B underpacker his whole life, all of a sudden, not anymore.
Is now toting all
Sure.
kinds of stuff with him. Yeah,
You're
you have
traveling,
to.
especially with an infant.
You
You're,
have
you're
to.
packing the pack and play or whatever their little cribby thing that they sleep in, and any type of car seat. They have
Stroller.
special food. You've got the diaper bag.
got
You
it
need
all.
diapers. Bottles and
That would fill a car up alone, even if you just get the minimal things. Now, do you still pack for your children?
No.
No, I don't either.
I've
And the
given that
first
up.
time that I did not pack, Grace is I would say an overpacker. Max opens the drawer and throws everything in the luggage and takes it. Stella, the first time I let her, she showed up with what she had on, one shirt, a couple pair of panties, and that was it. I'm like,
Now let me ask you this: when you do that, when your kids get to a point where they can make those decisions and pack for themselves, do you let them do that? But then you have to check it afterwards.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so it's not like you're just trusting them completely.
No.
The first time I totally
especially
trusted-
if your children are underpackers.
Right.
You got to
Because you want to make sure. I usually, when I started giving them that authority
Freedom,
or freedom
yeah.
or whatever you want to call it, I would give them a list. This is how many days we're going to be gone, and this is what we're going to be doing. So you need X number of shirts, you need one dress or whatever, swimsuit. I would make sure these are the things that have to be. You get to pick which ones you want, but this is what goes in here. And then, I don't know where, I don't remember. I think Max moved out. That was the first time I
That's
didn't
when it
give him
all
the
went
list.
wrong.
That's when it all went wrong. It's all Raven's duty now. Grace, she's on her own for packing now. And Stella, I still give a little bit of guidance. This last trip that we took, I did not look to see what she packed. Mm-hmm. When we got there and I realized she was wearing all black every day, that's okay. That's what she was into. Mm-hmm. But, I just said, just give me one nice outfit.
Yeah.
That's all I'm asking.
Ellie's the main one I still have to keep an eye on. She actually
she's still pretty young, though.
Yeah, she just spent a weekend with her friend at a hotel on Disney property, so she had to pack her bag.
Cadence.
And I let her do that. It wasn't Cadence. This was Angie, who's an angel. But she packed her bag, and we're getting ready to walk out the door, and I thought, I need to double check on this. And
what was in it?
There's a couple things of clothes, but I was like, did you pack your toothbrush? Oh, I forgot.
Yeah.
I was like,
or your hairbrush or whatever.
She didn't remember a hairbrush.
Yeah,
She hadn't
there's certain things you have to. What you don't? You travel with a hairbrush or a comb?
Does
Okay,
this look brushed to you?
I just wondered.
That would be a no.
You said you had product you use.
Oh yeah, I put
Just
either gel or a pomade or something.
Finger
Just
pomade. My hair.
Yeah.
What was it?
my hair stands up
My
real
hair.
pretty.
Anyway.
So, well, anyways, there's the kid issue. Then there's also if you have special needs. Becky Carter Cook, she says, my son and I both have dietary restrictions, so I pack cereal and snacks. I hate spending $4 to $5 for a bottle of water, so I usually end up with a couple dozen water bottles stuck in every crack and crevice of our 4 suitcases. Every possible OTC medicine that we might need, and at least 2 outfits per day. On the way home, we replaced the space that the food and the water took on the way up. They replaced that
With
space with
souvenirs.
souvenirs. I remember this like it was yesterday when we were in the middle of our special dietary restrictions phase of life, and it was intense. Like I said, I had to do everything very carefully. Just the ingredients that I needed to cook, even the things that I was cooking stuff in. So I remember us taking vacations with massive coolers and boxes of pots and pans and specific ingredients that I wasn't sure if I'd be able to get them at the grocery store in the place where I was going to. I made sure that I had those things. And it was intense. And obviously it led to some overpacking. But when you have a very special situation, you don't necessarily want to take risks.
No, and you don't want to. I wouldn't. Yeah, you can't wait to see if you can get something there. I wouldn't
No.
even trust somebody telling me, "Oh yes, we carry it." If your Target carries whatever it is, or you might not find it there.
Right.
It's a whole different world.
Exactly.
So you have to plan for all of that, and that kind of goes along the lines with an infant or a small child, anybody with special needs, whether it's an adult or a child. You have to. You have to make sure you have what you need.
Right.
Whether you're flying or driving.
Yeah.
So.
And even other restrictions. Constance Iverson, she left us a comment that said that she's been an overpacker for years, mostly because it's difficult to find clothes that she likes in plus sizes or shoes in wide sizes, since many of the stores don't carry them.
That's
you know,
true.
if she needs something, she just makes sure that she brings it because she's not certain that
That's
she's going to
true.
be able to find it
I'm
when
with
she
her
gets
on
there.
that. I've been somewhere and needed something, and they don't have the store that I shop at for one thing, or I just can't find my size. And there's nothing worse than either having to make do with what you find in some god awful outfit that looks like Grandma Moses wore just because it fits you.
Right.
So.
Well, so now that we've discussed what kinds of circumstances and who might be an overpacker versus an underpacker, I thought we'd give everybody some helpful tips depending on which way you go. So tips for the underpacker.
So
you want
these
to
are
take it?
tips for Dustin. Only bring items you wear on a regular basis and feel confident in.
That's for an underpacker?
This is for an underpacker.
Yeah, well, so to help you with your underpacking,
This is not the time to be experimenting with new styles and fashion.
No, it's not. And I know this from experience. as an underpacker. I have messed up by putting things in that like I just bought and I haven't tried on, but I'm
Yeah.
excited about, and they didn't pan out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I have a very small rotating line of clothes that I really
plaid.
like, of plaid and t-shirts that I really like. Yeah.
Right. So especially if you're an underpacker, you don't want to be experimenting and doing something new and then realizing that in mid-trip, this is not what you like and you don't like wearing this.
Yeah.
And then you've already underpacked. So what are you left
Yeah,
with?
Right. You mean to make selections that pull double duty for travel. This means that many of your clothes should be of a similar color palette. I do that. Select clothing choices that are more basic, like solid colors and simple patterns. Yeah, one plaid just like another. If your selections are incredibly distinct, it will be more noticeable that your outfits are repetitious, even if you're mixing and matching.
Yeah, like in your photos. You're going to note if your shirt is really distinct. You're going to
Okay.
notice you're wearing the same shirt through the
And
whole
I
trip.
do that, and that really, I noticed it on this last trip. You know,
Okay.
pictures start popping up, and I'm seeing, I'm like, good Lord, how many times did I wear that shirt?
Well, that's if you
know?
have something that's more basic, either like basic patterns, basic
Yeah.
solid colors, it's not going to be as, noticeable.
Leave the beauty routine at home. Use toiletries provided in hotels. I can't. You use hotel shampoo? You do.
I do.
I don't.
That's
It dries
the one
my
thing
hair
I
out.
do
I don't
use.
like it. Depends on what hotel I'm at. If it's a good hotel, then I know it's going to be good. But let's see. Leave valuables at home. If they are necessary, don't risk losing them during travel.
If they aren't necessary.
aren't necessary.
Or no, if they are necessary because you don't want to
Right.
risk not having them. That's right.
Only bring one reading material item for Oh,
Have
good
you ever done
Lord.
this? I've done this where I'll
Yes.
bring like 2 or 3 things that I
Yes.
think I'm going to do or read.
I've been
and
reading the
then-
same book for the last year and a half. Only on a plane do I read this book.
Is it about Alice, for remembering
Some-
Alice or something?
Yes.
I remember the book.
I took it to Canada. I got 2 chapters down.
Awesome.
So I should finish it by Christmas, maybe.
All right, now tips for the overpacker.
All right. What are those tips?
To review the travel itinerary and assess what's required during the trip so that you know what you need. But in general, keep in mind that 2 pairs of casual shoes and 1 pair of formal footwear will usually cover it. You don't need more than that. And it's also smart to bring 2 outfits less than the number of days on the trip because, often
What? No. Repeat that?
this is to help the overpacker to not to overpack, but maybe overpack a little bit more.
So 2
wisely.
outfits less?
Yes, because you can still double up. Like often the thing that you're wearing on the plane there, you can wear on the plane ride back. That type
Right.
of thing.
And I do that sometimes.
Right.
I go 1 for 1. Every day has one thing. That's, you know what I'm saying? 1 pair of socks per day. One,
What happens
shirt
if something
per-
happens to that pair of socks you're wearing? Then you're sock
But-
short.
Well, then maybe I will put 1 extra of everything, and then not use it.
Yeah.
because
I
nothing
worry
has ever
about
happened.
you now, Dustin. You're way underpacked.
Also, for the overpacker, just check your weather forecast for your destination so that when you're making your clothing selections, they're smart ones. Don't be like me, and that way you're not seriously overpacking. You're just packing according to what you know you're going to
That's a
hit.
good one.
You brought up this earlier. Roll your clothes.
I do sometimes. Sometimes I don't. It just depends on what the clothing is and how I want to. All the big stuff usually is folded in the bottom, and then when I get to the end of packing, if I still have things like T-shirts are almost always rolled because I can then tuck them in along the edging, and also, I know this is a totally different subject, but I have a relatively new suitcase that when you pack it, it opens up weirdly. So after you've already packed it, you have like 1.5 inches all the way around that's empty. It's very bizarre.
Okay.
So then I can roll in all the little things and pack
All right.
around it. So
So you get a lot more stuff
I
in.
get a lot more stuff in it. that
Rolling
way.
definitely takes up less space than folding, so that's one way to be more efficient with your packing. Also, for you overpackers, soft-sided luggage is a good choice for you because hard-sided luggage is less flexible when you're stuffing your bag, and it's also heavier to lug around if you're stuffing your bag. Varied accessories for your outfits is a good way to go because if you are packing more basically and trying to be a little bit more repetitive in what you're wearing, the accessories can make each outfit look distinct
Yep.
and they take up a lot less
A
space.
scarf, a thin, light scarf can change it up. And
Or a necklace, some
Right.
kind of earrings,
Top hat.
Mittens.
hair accessory. Whatever it is.
Top hat that's collapsible.
That's right.
Is that the kind of hat that you wear so you don't have to pack lots of hair stuff?
That's what my gentleman's hat.
I love a man in a top hat. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Also, you sort of mentioned this a little bit earlier, but tucking travel-sized toiletries into the corners of your luggage or even inside your shoes, because that's often space that isn't utilized.
I always put socks or undergarments in the little areas. Socks always go in shoes.
Except for when you're wearing them, which you don't.
Right. But if I do take socks, and I usually stuff them in the shoes, in my extra pair of shoes, and you think about all the little spaces in the suitcase that are just, do you put things in the outside pockets?
Sometimes I do. Mostly like papers or things that need to be more accessible.
And nothing breakable.
Yeah.
No, that's usually where my little container of Q-tips go, and cotton balls, and maybe my sewing kit. I don't know. That I've never used.
Well, I think that was all of what we had for you guys today. Did anybody else want to add anything?
Never.
Got it covered? Yep. Okay, so
Now I have to go home and pack because I'm leaving
that's right.
Friday morning.
Are you going to overpack or underpack?
I'm going to underpack. I'm taking only one small roll-on bag, and it's like a tiny little bag, not the tall one, and it's all going in there.
Well, now you've got lots of tips to help you do that. You're going to have to tell me if it worked or not worked.
We'll see how that goes.
All right, so that's going to do it for this week. We will see you next week when we have a very exciting episode about mini golfing.
Is that next week?
I think it's next week. We're mini golfing, and you're not going to want to miss it.
Wow, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
I've never mini golfed before.
Even more reason to tune in so you can see Teresa mini golfing. So
Mini golfing?
some blah, blah, blah. I started out not being able to talk, and I ended the same way. And
Full circle.
with that,
Circle.
we're going to say trip out.
Save.